What's up, guys? Nash Push Podcast, episode number 8. Welcome. This is your host, Alvin Dias, and my man Nash right here. And today we got one of important guests in our podcast. And I think the fitness world knows this guy. You know, we don't need introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway. My man, Josef Rakich. Is that right? Is that how you say your name, bro?
Yeah,
Josef
Rakich.
Josef Rakich. My man, Josef Rakich. Brother, welcome to the show, my man. How are you?
I'm good, man. Always good. Thank you very much for having me here. Appreciate it. It's good to be here.
It's actually a pleasure because I actually messaged Joseph about 3 weeks ago and I said, bro, we need you on the show. It'll be so good to have you to, talk about your journey, etc. Being a very successful person in the fitness industry. So we got quite a few questions to ask you today. But how's your lockdown, bro? Talk about that because, everyone's struggling at the moment. How's lockdown going for you? How's your training, etc.,
Yeah, well, lockdown sucks, but it is what it is, nothing we can do. So we just have to make the best of the current situation that we have at hand. I'm doing good. I can still run my business just as usual. All my staff can still work. Everything's online for our business, our company. So no difference there. I do feel sorry for all the, businesses and companies getting affected. I understand how hard it is. So I'm blessed and lucky to have an online business. Training, it's all right. It's not amazing because it's at home, and there's only so much you can do. I've got a decent home gym set up in my garage. So I'm still training every muscle group, but it's just not the same, When you're at home, you're in your comfort zone. It's just hard to get that motivation to train. Like, I love just going to the gym, the people there, the energy, the environment, the atmosphere, and just the fact of actually just driving to the gym. You're in a different mindset. You're there to train. At home, 100%. It's a lot harder. But, I'm still getting it done. I'm still smashing it. But I can't wait to go back to normal life.
Yeah, straight up. Could not agree more, man. Could not agree more. Hey, from my perspective, man, I've known about you from maybe even the early years that I was starting to work out, which was around 2012, 2013. And, I think that at the time you were starting to make a bit of a name for yourself. Do you want to just tell us about your sort of background? I'd done a bit of research on your website. I think you've got a bit of a background with football, if that's correct. Or, Do you want to just talk more about, what was your entrance into the fitness world and, just your background and your childhood, man?
Yeah, sure. So growing up, I was always in sport my whole life. Anything to do with sport, I love, man, But the two sports that I took most seriously would have been soccer, football. I was, striker for the top team in under 18, first division and Premier League. I was really big into my skating. I love skateboarding. But then, came time where I, started going out, drinking, partying, the club scene. And I guess that took away from the sport aspect. So I stopped soccer, I stopped skating. But how did I get into the gym? As I said, I've always loved sports, But funnily enough, when we had PE class at school and we had weights room, I never went and I trained because every time we had weights day, I forgot my gym clothes that day. Just because I didn't like lifting weights. To me, it was pointless. I was a skinny kid in class. I guess, I was weak, so I had no enjoyment and I didn't want to lift weights. So how did I get into the gym? My mum, she actually won a free gym trial. This was sometime after. She didn't want the gym trial, so she gave it to me. I went along to the gym with a couple of my mates, and it just became like a social aspect almost. My other mates from school were there, and we just started mucking around, chest and biceps every day kind of thing. Didn't train legs. Didn't train back because I can't see my back, so why would I train it? And even though we went there for the social aspect and just mucking around, we still started to see some progress and notice some gains.
Nice.
So as we started to see that as I started to see that progress, I got more serious about my training and my nutrition. I started to see my physique changing. So I started learning and I started wanting to learn. So I was going on Google, what's a good diet to build muscle? What's a good workout program to build muscle? And I guess over the years, I've just, accumulated more and more knowledge and applied it to myself. And then as I saw my results, coming in faster, it only made me more serious about my diet, more serious about my training, putting in more work, training harder. So I was getting that satisfaction out of it, where before I didn't understand that.
Nice.
So I guess it became a hobby. And then something that was my hobby turned into my passion, and now it's my career. But yeah, it all started off with my mom winning a free gym trial.
Wow, so
that's
good.
awesome, man. I think the first time I met Joseph was around, I think it was well, I knew you probably, I think, straight after school, around uni days, because when we were in school, I think the big the sort of names that we used to know was like Friesma and like Andy Priestley and stuff, Chess Bro, Ziz and stuff, Ziz was the first guy that everyone knew. But straight after uni, he bought it real big, but rest in peace, Ziz. But I think I literally knew Joseph around 2014, I think. That's when your name was just everyone knew about Joseph. And I actually met you in the 2015 Expo. I don't know if you remember. I got a photo right here. I was only 20 then, 21. I was shaking your hand.
Wow.
So good.
Yeah, I got it over here. I think you were with EHP Labs then,
Yeah, I would have been. Yeah.
So just take us through, your back then as well. So you were first sponsored by, EHP Labs, and you were working for them, or were you, like a sponsored athlete by them, etc. So take us through that era as well. How did that happen?
Yeah. I was never working for EHP Labs, but I was a sponsored athlete. So they used to, send me, money on a monthly basis. They send me free supplements. They used to fly me around the world for different expos in Australia, America, Kuwait, random countries, UK. So I've done a lot of travel with them, and that opened me up to the world, networking with different people, training with different people, collabing with different people. And that helped me grow my name and get more exposure in the industry. I love EHP, man. They've been so good to me over the years. They really helped me build my name, and I gave back to them, and they looked after me very well. Obviously I've left EHP now, but still super close with them all. Super close with Izar, the owner. Whenever I'm in Australia, I usually go and stay with him. When I left to start my own supplement brand, there was no bad blood or anything. Izar was proud of me. He wanted me to go do my own thing, and he was happy. So we've always had that good respect between us. And likewise, I've always had good respect back to them. And now they're easily one of the biggest supplement brands in the industry. And I couldn't speak more highly of them, man. I'm forever grateful for what they did for me and all the opportunities they gave me, flying me around the world, taking me to these expos, Vegas. It was an awesome life, man. Just going to different countries, different gyms, training, eating.
That is amazing.
It was cool, man. I love that time.
So what would you say was so even just extending on that, when did you start feeling, and what prompted you to start thinking about branching out and heading towards where you're at now? Was there maybe a specific moment, or had there been something that was building up?
Hard to say. Like, I learned that, for me to have a better business and to help more people and to, succeed further, I needed to be in front of more people. So I needed more exposure. And I realized the best way to get more exposure, it's to create yourself on social media platforms and get your name out there. So I've been super consistent, man. I've been using all these social media platforms I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Snapchat, I'm on Twitter, I'm on TikTok. Any platform, you name it, you'll find me there. And I didn't understand this at the first, you know. I was just Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, and I was growing my audience there by just putting up good content, providing value. And my manager was always like, oh, you need to get on Snapchat. You need to get on Snapchat. And I was like, nah, man, Snapchat's just for 14-year-old girls. But I was wrong, man. I finally got on Snapchat and I started posting my workout videos. People were screenshotting them, saving them, trying them out. People were sharing my Snapchat. So it just grew my audience on Snapchat. Then obviously TikTok came around. My manager was like, you need to get on TikTok. And I was like, okay, I'm not getting on TikTok. But here I am now. I'm on TikTok, man. And it's blowing up. I'm putting my wrong versus right videos on there. And I'm just using that audience to capitalize on, man, because we're all on our phones now. We're all on social media. We're always browsing. 100%. It's not Instagram, it's Facebook. It's not Facebook, it's YouTube. It's not YouTube, it's TikTok. Yeah. We're always somewhere. So I want to be on every platform so I can be in front of people everywhere. And the only way to do that is I understand that I have to produce content, and I have to produce content that provides value. So my job basically is creating content and trying to build exposure on social media. So I'm forever filming videos and taking pictures and posting and using everything, man.
Nice, bro.
Bro, that's amazing. That's amazing. I think that is such a key tool as well, which has helped me with my business as well as a trainer. You know, I think Joseph can relate to this because a lot of trainers actually come and talk to, you know, I'm pretty sure you, even me as well. They talk like, you know, how to get your business running or how to really, you know, be as successful as a trainer. Obviously, you got to have something behind it. Like, you know, Joseph is one of the icons around the world, you know, and for me, you know, it's always been bodybuilding behind it, you know. So, but, you know, well, number one that I always tell them is, bro, like literally, you can literally take your phone and shoot yourself a video of, you know, your nutrition or your training. And trust me, you know, you do that consistently, you will get something out of it in the future. And, you know, one of the things myself, I have learned from Joseph a lot. And I must say that, you know, being consistent on social media. And that's one thing, I got to thank, you know, Joseph for, because I always follow him on Instagram. And, you know, every time I go to train, you know, I tell my wife to, you know, take this, take that. And, you know, people do reply for that. Don't get me wrong. They're like, oh, bro, you know what? Can I do a consult with you? Can I do this? Can I do that? And it is so easy. And, you know, I got to agree with you 100% there, bro. Like, tell me about, like, how did this JRF community, you know, I was actually, I saw you guys went to Fiji. I think you took about 120 people with you, you know, and so now you guys have this brand, which is the biggest brand in New Zealand. And I can say probably, going around the world as well. How did this JRF community got so expanded and, you know, got built straight after, you know, EHP Labs? Like, you know, other than social media, you know, how did you, use that to, you know, build this massive family? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Community, man, is so powerful. And I never realized that. So when I first started out with online training, even though I was doing pretty well, it was all just putting up my own content, posting this, swipe up, get my diet, swipe up, get my workout. And I wasn't focusing on building a community. Me and my one of the guys who works for me, we went over to a conference over in America. ClickFunnels, it was a ClickFunnels event, which is like an email marketing thing. Nice. And we got an award there for, you know, doing $1 million through an email funnel. Yeah. And there was a lot of other people there as well getting awards. And I met this girl there who's also in the fitness industry. Her name's Lady Boss. And she got, you know, her award as well for doing more than $1 million through an email funnel. And she was doing bigger numbers than me. And I looked at her, and her audience wasn't as big as mine. And I couldn't understand how she was making crazy money, like way more than what I was doing. So I spoke to her and I was like, man, you're doing amazing. What's the number one thing that helped get you to where you were? And she just said one word: community. And then I didn't really understand it at the time, but I came back to New Zealand and I thought about it. I was like, man, this girl told me build a community. I didn't know how to do that. So, you know, I hired a guy, a marketing guy. His name was Derry. And I wanted to focus on building a community in any way that we can. So basically we started, you know, reaching out to our clients more, getting them to post in their stories what they're eating, what their workouts are, taking a selfie in the gym, posting it up. And we started to build all this content around hashtags. So we started the hashtag JRF results and JRF challenge. I think they both have now 30,000 tags with each of those hashtags.
Wow, nice.
Wow.
Yeah. And basically we're just trying to get our clients to showcase what they're doing to their audience. And we created some private Facebook groups for only our clients that they can be part of.
Oh, nice.
And once they started promoting JRF, all their friends and their family wanted to know what JRF was. So they came on board this community. And then everyone in the JRF community, like all these clients from all over the world, America, Australia, Canada, UK, they started following each other and talking to each other on social media platforms. And it just like built this strong family. And once we built that community, you know, the business went up like that.
That's crazy.
It was the game changer for my business. Like I was doing it well before, like we're doing some crazy numbers. But once we built the community, it just went like that. And
wow.
And then my marketing guy thought of an idea. He's like, what's the best thing we can do for a community? And we had this crazy idea that we'll hire out an entire island in Fiji for 5 nights and bring 120 of our clients over there. 20 of them, which we paid for fully. We paid for their flights. We paid for every accommodation on the island. So we started promoting it. Tickets sold out pretty much right away.
Wow.
And then we gave 20 trips away. And it basically was an awesome time. 120 people from all around the world who had never met each other before, only known each other through the JRF community, came to this island in Fiji, and we all left as best friends. It was one of the best experiences, you know, I've ever had. And it was such a cool thing just to see, you know, my clients come up to me from America or Canada or wherever they're from and just tell me in person how grateful they are that, you know, they've lost 20 kgs or 30 kgs on my meal plan and workout program. How they used to be depressed and they didn't go out, and now they've got all this confidence and they're living their best life. And just hearing some of those stories, you know, it got me teary eyes, you know, over there.
Bro, that's amazing.
And it was just so cool again, man. And everyone had, you know, everyone spoke with everyone. Like no one kept in their own groups. Every night for dinner, the tables were always different. Everyone sitting next to someone different. It was the best time, man. And that really took our community to another level as well. We tried to do it again, but COVID got in the way.
COVID is just interrupting everyone these days.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we definitely want to do that again sometime in the future.
That's awesome.
It was so cool. And then we built a lot of content around it as well. You know, we had a film crew come there. They filmed a lot of content. We did island games. You know, some of the clients did interviews, and we captured all this content. And it's helped us just spread and build JRF as a household name almost. You know,
I was going to tell. I was going to ask something. You know, I've noticed this, man. You don't understand. Like Joseph is one of the most consistent guys I've ever seen. Like this, like I heard that you go to parties and you don't even like cheat on your diet, bro. Is that true?
Wow.
Not for real. Like it's crazy. Like he would literally go to parties and there'll be alcohol and they would be having a good time. You know, me, myself, and Nash, we don't drink alcohol as well. But I would definitely eat a burger or like I'd eat sausages or whatever they have, right? But I heard that Joseph literally takes his meals, bro. Is that true?
There has been times like that. Yep. like I don't drink or anything anymore, but I've definitely done a lot of that. My life used to be every Thursday, Friday, Saturday night getting drunk off my face.
Wow.
Sorry, take us, when was this, 2008, 9, 10? Like,
This
when
was
that?
before the gym, and also when I was just getting into it. But I haven't drunk alcohol for probably a good 7 years now.
Nice.
Not that I've quit. It's just something I don't do because I've got a really obsessive personality. So whatever I do in my life, it's 0 or 100.
Bro, that's crazy.
So I guess now I'll put that obsessive personality into the gym and into my business.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
But yeah, my whole life used to be around drinking and partying and clubbing. But I honestly think I've worn myself out too much from just doing that. But I'll go out and I'll have a couple burgers, but usually it'll be in a place of like steak and rice or chicken and rice. So it's pretty much the same anyway. But yeah, it depends what my goals are at the time. If I need to have a certain amount of calories, I'll bring my meal with me.
Nice.
That's awesome. What's your diet like at the moment, bro? Like, are you because of this COVID and stuff, like, are you cutting at the moment? You're bulking, you're maintaining? What's it at, what do you, what's your face?
Putting on, at the moment, like, I don't want to get too much bigger than what I am now, but I want to put on more muscle, if that makes sense. So I'm in a slight surplus, pretty high carbs, above 500 grams a day, more than a kg of rice a day, pretty much. I've got carbs in every meal except for one meal, and that meal without carbs, I try and have like something fatty, so it's either eggs or maybe like a salmon. And the reason I have that one meal without carbs is just to try and get some more fat in my diet. Otherwise, if I don't, I'm just eating chicken and rice and steak and rice and protein and oats, and I'm not getting any direct source of fat. But yeah, 6 meals a day and consistent doing that. And just a slight calorie surplus.
I remember when me and you, I think it was 2019, when I was prepping, you were doing road to 100 kilos. Remember that?
Damn.
Did that happen or not?
Nah,
that never happened, right?
I got to 95 kgs, and I felt like I was too like. I felt too like stocky.
Fair enough.
And I felt too thick, and I didn't like how I was feeling. I was like, nah, I feel a lot better at like 88, 89, 90. Like, I want more muscle, definitely, but I don't want that bulkness.
The bulkness,
So I got to 95, and I was like, nah, this ain't me. But like, I was still a lean 95 as well, like,
I remember that, because that's like when me and you did shoot some videos for your content. Remember that? We did some series as well, and I remember, bro, you took your shirt off. You look unreal, man.
Wow.
Like, oh my goodness.
Lean. Like, it's almost like when I'm even bulking and putting on size, like, it's almost like I'm leaner because the muscles just pushing against the skin more. But I just found at 95, I didn't feel good on my frame. Too thick. Yeah. So I'm trying to stay lean and athletic, but still want to gain a lot more muscle.
But
makes sense, to do that, just got to go at a slower
pace.
Yeah.
So Alwin and I were talking about in our last episode around, with Hollywood, and I don't know if you've seen the interview it's like a mini documentary by Joshua Brett, about the dark side of Hollywood transformations and how a lot of the physiques don't have as much transparency as they should be. So you've got people like Skarsgård, I forgot his name. I don't know if it's Bill or the other Skarsgård that plays Tarzan. And he was giving out his diet, talking about how he was having just chicken breast and broccoli. When, from a personal trainer perspective, when you're hearing something like that, and then you get a client coming to talk to you and saying, this is what I'm seeing this movie star do, can I do something similar? What are you telling them? What are you educating them on?
Yeah, so I guess it depends on the situation. But for example, doing a chicken and broccoli diet only, you're going to feel like shit.
Oh yeah.
Like, you're literally running off just protein.
Wow.
And some of that protein will be getting turned into carbs through gluconeogenesis, and you'll just be feeling terrible. Maybe it might be necessary for someone in their last week of prep if they're not where they need to be. There's always those last, 1 to 2 weeks where sometimes you have to feel like death to get to where you need to get to. But, when dieting, you should always try and keep calories as high as you can. What a lot of people do, they're not going to the gym, they're not being on any diet, and then they get the idea they want to lose weight. So they start off on super low calories and doing an hour of cardio a day.
That's right.
You're eating 800 calories a day, you're doing an hour of cardio a day. Yes, you'll lose fat, but you're going to plateau very fast because your body wants to adapt and reach homeostasis. Because at the end of the day, losing body fat is a form of starving to death. Your body thinks you're dying. Your body's going to try and do everything in its power to not lose any more fat. It's a survival mechanism. So it's going to slow its metabolism down. It's going to lower its T3, its leptin, its fat-burning hormones. And your metabolism is going to be so low just to try and not lose any more weight on 800 calories and an hour of cardio per day. So how do you lose even more weight? You have to decrease the calories and increase the cardio, which is terrible.
Terrible. 100%.
So my advice is always start a diet with your calories as high as you can, 100%, and cardio as low as you can.
As low as you can,
then decrease your calories. Then increase your cardio. Then decrease your calories. Then increase it, and leave so much room to move. Like you always want tools left in your toolbox.
That's awesome.
That is great.
Otherwise,
100%.
You start off on 800
good,
calories. You start off on an hour of cardio. Your body adapts within weeks. You've got nowhere to move.
100%. Like, it's like, you start from 800 calories. What are you going to cut when you reach a plateau, right? 500?
Exactly.
the person's going to feel so crap,
Feel bad.
The last week you'll be getting ice cubes only.
Very good. So Joseph, one of the questions I was going to ask you, like, you have this amazing physique, right? Which literally led you to build your company today. How come that physique never didn't go to the stage? You know what I mean? In other words, how come it never took to that point?
To be honest, I don't even have an answer for you. I don't even know myself. I love training. I love dieting. I train and diet sometimes like I'm going to compete. But at the end of the day, I do it for social media.
It's like because I see you, like, I'm like, man, this guy's always shredded, right? He's literally like 4 weeks out of a show, sometimes even less, and I'm like, it only takes like 3 weeks to get shredded and go to the stage. But is it because you're not that as passionate to get on stage and do a bodybuilding comp, or is it like kind of that?
I'd probably say so. Like, I haven't had any dying urge to go and get on stage. I love the sport. I follow the sport closely. I used to go to every single Olympia show for the last 6 or 7 years, except for last year because of COVID.
COVID, yeah, wow.
But it's what I love. It's what I enjoy. But I just haven't done it myself. Maybe one day, I don't know. I told my wife when she was going to get into the gym and she was going to compete, I said, if you compete, I'll compete with you. She never did, so I never did. But, maybe one day.
One day.
I know what to do. I've prepped like I'm going to go in a show, but I've just done it for social media to get content. I'll have to learn how to pose, obviously.
Interesting.
Maybe I'll get some lessons from you.
How old are you, Joseph?
I'm 30.
30. Oh wow, nice, man.
Yeah.
Nice. What have you seen has been the sort of, what have you seen from your 20s going now into 30 early 30s, obviously? Have you had to sort of adapt to the fact that you're getting older, or are you still in the phase of I'm still, I can still do this, what I'm doing, what I did in the mid-20s, late 20s, all that stuff?
Not really, apart from in my mind and the way I think. I feel like I'm still capable of everything that I used to do when I was 20. If anything, I'm getting better at what I am doing, but in my head, I'm just a lot more sensible and smarter. Where when I was younger, I would just go crazy with the biceps and but now I'm sensible. I'm like, I don't want to tear a bicep. I don't want to tear my pec. I don't want to tear a quad. Yeah. So when I do my heavy squats, it's not just down and up. It's nice and controlled and trying to prevent myself from getting an injury. Yeah. Where when I was 20, 100%. Man, I would just put another plate on and just push up as hard as I can. But now I'm just, injury prevention is the best thing. So I'm just 100%. Being more sensible with how I train, and doing everything I can to prevent an injury happening in any way. Yeah.
That's awesome. Also, you preach about the keto diet like crazy, I see on Instagram and all the social media platform. I was gonna ask you what's so big about this keto diet, how much do you how come you believe in this diet so much, you know what I mean, take us through that. I was gonna ask you this as well. What's so special about the keto diet than the normal carbohydrates that people consume, or macro friendly? Yeah, take us through that.
Yep, sure thing. So I'm a huge fan of the keto diet, and the reason is because there's many benefits. Now, first off, I'd just like to say, at the end of the day, fat loss comes down to being in a calorie deficit. If you're in a 500 calorie deficit on a keto diet here, and a 500 calorie deficit on a diet here that contains carbohydrates, fat loss will be equal and will be identical. A keto diet won't make you lose fat any more than what a carbohydrate-based diet will if calories are the same. Now, why do I love the keto and why do I think it's so beneficial? Many reasons. But I think for the most part, I'll list off some of the benefits first and then I get into other details. So some of the benefits of the keto diet is, you feel like you've got better brain function, more productivity, better cognition, more mentally clear, less water weight, less bloating. And that's because your kidneys aren't holding that salt and sodium, just flushing it out. A lot of clients get better skin now because of less insulin. Now, this is why it's so good for the general person who is not prepping for a bodybuilder comp. When you're dieting, obviously calories have to decrease and you have to lower them. Yeah. When you lower your calories a lot, you get hungry. You get cravings. There's something that happens. Yeah. The keto diet, it suppresses your hunger like crazy and it takes away all of your cravings when you're keto adapted. So what does that do? It helps you adhere to the diet. It helps you stick to the diet. A bodybuilder can stick to the diet because if you tell them to eat grass, they will eat grass.
Yeah, 100%.
They can't do that. So the keto diet suppresses appetite. Also, the keto diet in the first week, sometimes you lose 3 to 4 kgs. Wow. Yes, that's water weight. It's a lot of water weight because your kidneys aren't holding on to that salt and sodium because low levels of insulin. But when someone starts a diet and they see 3 to 4 kgs loss in the first week, they're like, wow, this is amazing. They feel so good. So what do? They stick to the diet. And they get better results because they actually adhere to the diet. Where when you're on a carbohydrate-based diet, you don't get that initial water weight drop. No, so it's not as motivating. So usually after the first week or the second week, the general public, they fall off their diet because they're not seeing the results. Yeah. Also, there's such a strong line in the sand. Bodybuilders are different because they have a goal. You tell them to eat this, they will eat that, and that's that. With keto, there's such a line in the sand. And what I mean by that is, okay, you've completely removed the entire macronutrient. There's a strong rule. So they want to stay in a ketosis state. So someone who's dieting, but on a normal diet with carbs, if they go with their friends on a Saturday night, or maybe they're at a party, they'll have some chips. Oh, they're out with their friends for dinner. Oh, it's okay. I'll have a burger and some fries and we'll get an ice cream because, we're out with their friends. But the people who are on a keto diet, they want to stay in a ketosis state. So when they're out with their friends, they're like, oh no, I can't have that. I'm on keto. So what do? They get a steak and salad instead. And they say no to the chips because they're in a ketosis state. So I've had over 150,000 clients worldwide. And all of my data shows the people who follow the keto diet adhere to it much better than the people on the diet that contains carbohydrates.
Wow.
Also, when you're on low calories, sometimes your energy is not there, right? With a keto diet, because you're switching your fuel sources, your body's running off fat and ketones as energy. When calories are low, your energy is constantly high and sustained. When you're on a low carbohydrate diet, you get high energy, then you crash. You get high energy, then you crash. And sometimes you feel lethargic and weak and tired because you're getting a little bit of carbs, but not enough, But on the keto diet, your body's not running off that carbohydrate, it's running off fat and ketones. And when you're fully keto adapted, you just feel good and always high, always energy, always sustained. The people that do the keto diet wrong are the ones that remove the carbs and don't put fat in their diet. They feel terrible. But if you're on a proper keto diet, you feel amazing, you feel mentally clear, you feel high energy. Also, another reason, when people are on a low carb diet, trying to lose weight, they have some carbohydrates. What does that do? It releases insulin. And that insulin makes you want more food and gives you more cravings. So it makes the diet harder. On keto, if you have steak and butter, you feel full, man, and you don't feel like eating anything else. Someone tries to give you cake, like, nah, man. But when you're dieting on a diet that contains some carbs and you've just eaten, your hunger is up here. So if there's chocolate or lollies, you want that so bad. On the keto diet, you're like, nah, I don't feel like that.
That's crazy.
It basically comes down to adherence, and people on the keto diet adhere to longer. I've got, a lot of Miriam's, my wife, a lot of her family have done the keto diet. Her mum can never lose weight when she's on a diet that contains carbohydrates. It's because she doesn't follow the diet. She has some chips. She goes out with her friends and has, the burger or whatever. When she's on the keto diet, she says, oh, no, I can't have that. I'm on keto. So a lot of the time they're saying no. And that's just why the general people get better results on keto. But coming back to a bodybuilder, keto diet versus diet with carbohydrates, if calories are equal, fat loss will be equal. But all those other reasons are why I think keto is better for the general public person trying to lose weight.
So that's some wisdom, right? That's a great point. So with that being said, there has been criticism in the past about keto not necessarily being the most sustainable nutrition, because after you've jumped off the program, this is a worldwide, it seems like it's a worldwide thing. After people jump off the program, they go through a period of just going back to square one, of having regained a lot of weight because of the cravings of carbohydrates and all of that. What is your take on it? What do you get clients asking you the same, something similar along those lines, maybe getting feedback from what they've seen on the internet? I know even there's been a study that was done by University of Chicago where they were talking about why, or the cons, they were emphasizing the cons of keto and the long-term effect it has on people, on the general public. What's your take on that? And what's your experience been with clients?
Yeah. So what people need to understand is when you come off a keto diet or any diet that's low in calories, you need to control for calories. So a lot of people come off the keto diet, and what do? They go straight back to how they used to eat, which was protein, carbs, fats, and in a high calorie surplus. So yes, they're going to gain a lot of weight. What they need to do is, if they want to transition from keto to a diet with carbohydrates, they need to keep the calories the same. So put the carbohydrates back in your diet, remove all of the fat or most of the fat. So calories are the same. If calories are the same, then you won't gain any weight, apart from maybe some water weight, which can be, 2 to 3 kgs. But you just have to remember that's only water weight, because carbohydrates hold water. And then you have to slowly transition your calories up. So reverse diet. And if you do that, you're not going to gain any more fat than what you would if there was carbohydrates in the diet prior. It's all about calorie control, and it's about reverse dieting. Because any diet, when your calories are low, your metabolism decreases and lowers itself to try and maintain its weight on that lower calories. So if you go back to a 4,000 calorie diet, yes, you're going to gain a lot of weight very fast. You need to slowly bump it up over the weeks. I've been on keto, and I've jumped straight to a 400 gram plus carbohydrate diet per day, but I balanced my calories. I kept them the same. So there was no weight gain apart from, some water weight. Then from there, I transitioned my calories. So I guess at the end of the day, it comes down to calorie control. Calories in versus calories out, that is the underlying factor of gaining fat and losing fat. And then obviously you need to change your macros around, keep your protein in, and adjust the carbohydrates or the fats. I like to have very, very high carbs, or very, very high fat and no carbs. I don't do too well on low carbohydrate diet. I feel like I get low in energy and I feel weak and lethargic. So I'm always trying to either, praise the carbs or praise the fat, but not both at the same time.
Not both at the same time.
And that's how I function best, on one or the other.
That's awesome, man. Bro, what do you think about these OMAD diets and people do this 1 meal a day stuff? And what do you think about also the plant-based diet? The plant-based diet is actually getting a little bit bigger these days. A lot of people are actually turning vegan. Yeah, it's like crazy. And I actually have I don't know anything behind it. I know one of my mates, Manu, he does vegan as well, and he's looking phenomenal. But on your honest opinion, what do you think about the vegan diet and the OMAD diet? Like what's your take on it?
Nothing against either of them. Not a fan of either of them.
Yeah, same.
Mano looks awesome, but let's talk about OMAD. So 1 meal a day. Can you lose weight on that? Yes. If you're in a calorie deficit. So who would I recommend this for? Not a bodybuilder, because you want more meals per day, because you can stimulate muscle protein synthesis more times than once per day. So it makes sense to have at least probably 4 servings of protein per day to get 4 different muscle protein synthesis response. So one meal per day would not be ideal for a bodybuilder, but it may be good for someone trying to lose weight. And if someone has a busy life and that OMAD style of dieting makes it easier for that person and their lifestyle, then I think it could be a good thing. And maybe they don't like eating 6 times per day. Maybe they just want to enjoy 1 meal. So if they like that, they enjoy that, and that is what they can stick to, and that helps them lose weight, then I'm for it. I wouldn't do it myself. In regards to the plant-based diet, I think it is superior getting, some protein from, chicken, fish, steak, eggs, just because I believe there's better amino acid profiles. Can you get amazing results on a plant-based diet? 100% you can. There's many amazing bodybuilders that are plant-based, vegan, vegetarian. I just think it is superior if you do have meat in your diet. Not saying that it can't be achieved on a vegan, vegetarian, plant-based diet. It still can. It will be a lot harder. And, if that person does it for ethical reasons, 100% props to them and well done for them. And I've got many clients who are on a vegan, vegetarian, diet, getting amazing results, and it can be done. And if that's the diet that you like, if you feel good on that diet, if you feel that diet gives you energy, and that's the way you like to eat, go for it, 100%.
Nice.
I think the best diet is the diet that you personally like and that you enjoy, because that way you're going to stick to it and you're going to adhere to it. And the best diet is the one that you can adhere to.
Do you think
Awesome.
that's a mistake a lot of personal trainers make, where I guess it even comes down to not getting a chance to get to know your client and heading more towards, okay, this is a potential client. I've got an opportunity to earn money, or anything, or things like that. Do you think that's why a lot of personal trainers don't get maybe give their clients the desired result, is because they're not actually allowing the client to communicate with them? I don't know if you've had this experience too, Alwin, communicate with them what they want, rather they're preaching certain things where they're not really hearing the client out, or not actually getting a deeper understanding of what the client enjoys eating.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's so true. You know, there are some people out there that only push this type of diet, and if they do that, that's cool, that's fine. But they need to understand some people just don't like that, and they don't like eating that. Like, I'm a big fan of keto. I push keto. I say keto is amazing. But hey, if you don't like eating bacon and eggs and steak and butter and salmon, keto is probably not the diet that you want to do. So,
yeah.
I wouldn't recommend that if you don't like the keto-based foods. I think the client should do the diet that they like best, and then whatever diet that is, the calories, protein, carbohydrates, and fats just need to be met accordingly to their goals and what they're trying to achieve. At the end of the day, any diet will work as long as calories, protein, carbs, and fats are in control. So yeah, and I pay a big attention to the foods that agree with me. So even though calories in, calories out, all this, I love oats. I love protein in oats and berries. My favorite food in the whole world. I'd eat that more than cake. I'd eat that more than anything. But I don't feel good after it, because there's so much, like, maybe it's gluten, maybe it's fiber because I have like 100 grams of oats at a time, and I have this like 3 times a day. So I'm getting so much fiber in my diet, plus the berries. And I just feel like it's just too much fiber can be a bad thing. So a lot of my meals now are chicken and rice, steak and rice, because there's no fiber in rice. It's easy to digest. It doesn't bloat you. It goes through you pretty fast. Oats, they're kind of heavy. Like, the strongest men in the world, they need like 8,000 calories, 10,000 calories per day.
Yeah.
More than 1,000 grams of carbs. They can't eat that through oats. It'll be a mess, and their stomach will be bloated because of all the fiber.
Yeah.
So they have to eat white rice, and they actually put dextrose sugar on it to get those calories in, because it's easy to digest. They feel good, and it just doesn't fill them up. So I pay attention to stuff like this as well now. And I'm actively trying to choose foods where I get different vitamins and minerals from. So where before I just paid attention to the macros, but now, because I guess the macros and the calories are important for the general public, but for a bodybuilder or someone trying to perform at the highest level in the gym, your micros, your vitamins and minerals are important too. So now I try and eat foods that have a good source of vitamin D. So my eggs, my salmon. I also try to get calcium in my diet. So I'm having Greek yogurt. I'm trying to get more potassium in my diet, because that's important for muscle contraction. So I'm having my sweet potato. And I try and pick out I'm trying to get more iodine in my diet, because it's good for the thyroid. So some of my meals, especially pre-workout, I put iodized table salt on my meal, trying to get that iodine in.
Wow.
Just little things like this. It's that 1% difference. But that 1%, when you're in a performance-based sport, trying to perform at the highest level, it can make a difference. For the general public trying to lose weight, they don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
Someone at your level, Alwin, these little things, they matter,
100%,
Like, okay,
100%.
where am I going to get my potassium from? Oh, sweet potato. Where am I going to get my iodine from? Iodized table salt. Where am I getting my calcium from? Greek yogurt. Where am I getting my vitamin D from? Salmon, eggs. So I'm trying to pick certain foods for all of this.
That's awesome, man.
Wow.
Moving on to the training style as well. Are you a high volume guy or low volume or a bit of both?
Both, but 90% high volume.
Yeah, so loads of sets.
When it comes to training, I believe in variety and always mixing it up.
100%.
So sometimes I go through training blocks with high volume, training each muscle once per week only, high volume, but lots of recovery. Other times I'll train less volume, but more frequency. So maybe twice per week or 3 times per week per muscle group. And I always change it up, but I feel like I get my best gains and I enjoy the most on the bro split. Every muscle group once a week. It's just chest once a week, back once a week, legs once a week.
I completely agree with you. When people say push and pull, I'm like, good for you, but I don't enjoy that, man.
I've done it, but it's
push
not me.
Legs.
It's not me too. No.
Yeah.
Wow. I've done legs 3 times. I've done legs 3 times per week.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, those leg workouts are nothing like your leg workout if you're training them once per week.
Once a week.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely, man. So true.
100%.
If you train legs once a week, you're killing yourself in that one workout.
Straight up.
You just
if you train them 3 times per week,
no, you can't. Yeah, no.
Just by default, it's half-ass.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So just to also going back to your client base, how do you push for getting to a point of actually developing a sustainable relationship with them, where it's you're not there just for providing a training program and I guess to increase your clientele? How do you reiterate to them that you're actually there to basically change their life and develop that relationship sustainably? Because if you've managed to get 120 people to go to another country, for some of them it's the very first time that they've stepped foot in Oceania, in that side of the world. That takes a lot of trust, and that takes a deeper understanding and actually a well-developed relationship. How have you pushed that within your brand, and maybe even with values that you have as well? How have you managed to sort of push that into your brand?
Yep. I always believe in over-delivering in value. So my prices are pretty cheap, but when someone signs up, I feel like I give them more value than what they expect. We've got an amazing support team. So any questions, any queries about anything at any time, they can email in and they can get a response. If they want something changed in their meal plan to something else, they can get it changed. Nothing is a problem at Josef Rakich Fitness, and we always put our customers first. We always listen to our customers. Even when we believe we're right. At the end of the day, the customer's always going to be right, man. And you have to listen to that. If they want something, you have to adhere to that. And, it comes back to myself. I want good transformations because good transformations allow me to showcase, which allows me to get more clients. So how do I get good transformations? I have to make sure my clients get good results. And how do I do that? I just over deliver on value and make sure that they have everything that they need to succeed. And I feel like I've done that pretty well. And we're getting so many amazing transformations. We're getting clients sending videos to us of them crying, saying how grateful that they are. They never would have thought they would get to where they are.
That's awesome.
And that's cool. All of this stuff, it makes me want to go out and help more and offer more, because at the end of the day, it comes back to me. It's just like good karma, man. You put out good stuff, you get good karma back.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's so true. So I'm always trying to over deliver on the value that I provide.
That's awesome, man.
That's awesome. Have you got anything to ask?
I was just gonna ask as well. Like, that's a great point, man. I was gonna ask. Actually, I think just to add to that, I think that's actually good advice, not necessarily for people in the fitness world, but even for people, just general business owners.
Yeah, today.
Because I feel like that's something that can inspire a lot of people. I think I just had another question around, and I don't know if maybe you get this a lot because you've got quite a great following now. What is your take on people that criticize you or criticize your brand? And also, just to add to that, what advice can you give even to us as our brand grows, as our podcast grows?
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to be a fan of us, and also with people listening, not everyone's going to be a fan of their transformation or whatever. Like, what have you encountered as Josef Rakich, and what advice can you give to the people listening and stuff around criticism?
Yeah, there's always going to be that criticism out there. I think it's just our human nature, you know.
Yeah.
Just like animals in the animal kingdom, they always pick on someone, and I think we do that as well. It's just what it is. I've seen a lot of criticism of me online. There's been a few YouTube videos. I don't even spend my own time to watch the video or waste my time with that. I get, there's often negative comments on my Facebook or Instagram or something like that. It's not worth to worry about or even take any weight into it. At the end of the day, like, I feel more sorry for that person that is messaging on someone else's social media. Oh my God, you're an idiot, blah, 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 blah. Like, writing anything negative, because I just can't imagine myself using my own time, going out of my own way to someone's social media.
Yeah.
I hate you. This is like,
nice.
Bro, you okay?
That's awesome.
Like, I couldn't imagine myself doing that. So I'm like, I kind of feel sorry for them. I'm like, bro, no life. Someone I don't like online, maybe, but just don't look at their stuff.
100%.
There's always going to be that negativity, but I think, if you put out negativity, it's all you're going to get back. Instead of me going and being negative to someone, I would rather just use that time to level myself up. Gary Vee actually had a very good quote. I'll probably mess it up, but Gary Vee said he wants to have the biggest tower in the city by building the biggest tower in the city. Everyone else wants to have the biggest tower in the city by pulling everyone else's tower down.
Wow.
So I think everyone's just trying to pull everyone down because it makes themselves feel better. Or instead, you should just be focused on pulling yourself up and being a better person yourself. And that's what I focus on. I don't waste any of my time with negative criticism or negative energy. I'm just 100% focused on myself and trying to be better.
Great, bro.
Bro, that's awesome, man. Wow, that's actually so good because, I know, guys like you and Callum and all that, you guys would get some messages here and there from the haters, That's so good to that's actually such a good advice for people who are coming up as well in the future, who might be watching this interview. We don't know who they are. You shouldn't let that actually affect you. That's actually a thing for you to fuel up and really even go higher.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that is great. Also, I was going to ask you, you traveled around the world, bro, right? Okay, you traveled around the world and you met all these Olympians. I know you met Flex Wheeler, which is one of the icons me and Nash, we love. You met all these guys. Tell me, okay, you don't have to do this though. Tell me one of the most coolest guys you've ever met and one of the most arrogant, cocky guys you've met. No, I know you're such a nice person and a positive person, but I actually want to know who's you don't have to answer it, but if you can give, who's the most positive and one of the coolest guys you've met, and man, this guy's cool, and that guy is just so arrogant and cocky. Can you let us know?
Yeah, honestly, I swear on my life, in regards to being arrogant, I couldn't name a single person. Swear on my life. Wow. If I could, I would, but I honestly can't say anyone's been arrogant to me in person. Yeah.
What about one of the coolest?
Coolest, bro. There's too many to name.
But you got to give me one, just one person that really stood out to you. Man, this guy's amazing.
I'll give you a few off the top of my head. Flex Wheeler was one of them. Amazing. Trained with him, went out for lunch with him, been in his car. He took me around. Awesome person, awesome personality. One of the greatest. I've met so many people, you know, it's just, there's so many people out there. I'm not sure if you guys know, his name's Heidi, the Asian guy sponsored by Gaspari, pro bodybuilder.
Yeah, Hidi Yamagishi.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
one of
He's
the
Hidi
coolest guys
Yamagishi.
ever.
Is he the one who's his partner's Iris Carl?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Are they? I don't think they're partners, are they partners?
Yeah, they go out.
Yeah, they go out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't expect him to be one of the coolest, but he was one of the nicest to me. Gave me his time, gave me his energy. We've trained here in New Zealand. So cool, so down to earth. Richard Gaspari as well trained in that training session.
Nice.
What about Arnold? You met Arnold?
I've met Arnold, but never spoke to him.
Oh,
yeah.
So when I was with EHP Labs, we met Arnold. He came up to the top of the booth. And, you know, we got videos and all that, but we never got to speak to him one-on-one.
Yeah.
I went to the Olympia and sat front row with Ronnie Coleman.
Wow.
Damn. That is crazy.
So my mate Marvin owned a supplement shop called Payless Supplements.
Yeah, Marvin Yocop, right?
They stored, they stored Ronnie Coleman supplements. So when we were in Vegas, Ronnie Coleman took Marvin and myself to the Olympia. That was pretty cool.
That is awesome.
We then went out for dinner with him.
That's awesome. I actually met Ronnie Coleman in 2017.
What's that?
Sorry, what's that? I actually, met. yeah, Callum Omoga. Yeah,
good
man.
energy,
He's the man.
Vibes, man.
Yeah, he actually came a couple of times here, right?
Yeah, he's been here a few times.
Yeah,
just
I don't know if
before
he's
he
going
got
to come
injured
again.
as well. Oh, he will.
Yeah, that's
definitely.
true.
Obviously after COVID, but definitely. I mean, he's an Australian anyway, so I'm sure this would be. Yeah.
Joseph and Callum are pretty good friends as well, eh? Joseph, you and him are pretty tight.
Yeah, we messaged quite a bit. We trained when he was here in New Zealand.
Awesome.
Yeah. He's huge.
We do some business with him. We're building his website and his app at the moment.
Oh, for real?
My company, yeah.
That's awesome.
Bro, that's awesome.
He just what would you say is the sort of last bit of advice that you can give to people listening just around general fitness? And also even just now during the lockdown time, people may be tempted to be eating junk food because they don't necessarily have to, but it's not actually good, you know. What advice can you give towards people, to people?
Be consistent, man. Be consistent with what you do. I understand that, we're going through lockdown right now. It is hard, but you just have to accept the situation and you have to make the best of the situation. Now, you can either use this time to fall behind, or you can use this time to get better. If you want something bad enough, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. Yes, I know COVID is here. It's a good excuse, but it's still an excuse. So, if you want to, if your goal is to lose weight, you can still lose weight. You can go outside, you can run, you can still follow a diet. No one's forcing you to eat the ice cream or the biscuits or the chips. Like, if you want something, you can commit to it. You just have to figure out for yourself what is more important for you, getting the results that you want or taking this time off and just waiting for things to go back to normal. Either option is fine, but you just got to make that decision and lock into it and go with that.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Bro, thank you so much for actually coming. Guys, if you guys want to get fit or if you guys want to, get in shape, make sure to go to my man's page, jrf.com. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
JRF?
Yeah, or just find me on social media.
Yeah, we'll put all the
search
details.
My name on any social media channel, you'll find me.
Exactly. So go to his website. He's the man in the industry. Thank you so much, man, for coming. We really appreciate it, for taking out your time and joining us. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like us on Instagram, Spotify. Obviously this interview will be on Spotify, Nash Push Podcast. Subscribe to us. Make sure you watch our stuff and help us grow. And until the next episode, guys, take care. God bless you all. We are out.